What's up, everybody? Noble Comics here. Wanted to try out a kind of different video format style here. A little bit of gameplay in the background. So, I want to talk about basically the comic book culture war, which of course that's what everyone always talks about. But pretty much who won, you know? Because it kind of feels like it's over to me. I don't know if anybody feels the same way, but it kind of feels like everybody's just doing their own thing. Sure, there's still like some hostility, I guess, between like indie guys and like big two professionals. But it feels like for the most part the war is over. And so of course the question is who won? Now, in the beginning, right, 2016, 2017, when this all started, it was brutal. You had the turn in mainstream comics towards this like far left ideology. You had tons of characters being rewritten, being replaced with like minority replacements, and everybody and their sister was gay and all this stuff. And you had a ton of people who would obviously take issue with that. You boy Zach, that early Comicsgate crew, who was saying this is stupid. These creators in particular are stupid. They're doing a bad job. These books are bad. You know, you boys Zach would review thousands of books that are just terrible, and why they're terrible, and like how this ideology is ruining comics, and talked about that for years with very minimal change. And in the last year or so, it feels like there's been more of a shift towards just like, okay, mainstream is gone, all hope is lost with them, let's just focus on doing our own thing, let's make our own books, let's make some awesome books. So, who really wins in the end when that happens? From one perspective, obviously, you could say that the mainstream won, because it seems like the independent guys kind of gave up trying to convince them, kind of gave up trying to get their point across, gave up on the mainstream. So, to a degree, you could say, yeah, mainstream won for sure. The other side gave up. Sounds good to me. But on the other side, there's still everything that the indie guys, Comicsgate guys said was true, and it's still true. Their books are bad. Their books are insulting to fans. The creators are all just terrible freaks, weird people. And it hasn't gotten any better. Sales have continued to go down. They're all living in some fantasy world where comics are doing great. So clearly they've still failed. So does it mean that the guys who got out while they could, got out on the life raft while they still could, are we the real winners while these freaks in the mainstream are still sinking, going down with the ship? I don't know. I don't know if it's... Sorry, I keep touching my mic. I don't know if it's that simple of an issue either. As much as I'd like to just say, we win, I feel like both sides are saying that right now. And, I don't know. Someone's delusional in all this. What I would say is there's a certain success that the mainstream's always going to have. There's always going to be, of course, today, comic book movies based on these properties from the mainstream, influenced by typically the classic stories, but to be fair, there's quite a bit of stories from just the last few years that are getting a lot of play. We're already getting the Jane Foster Thor, we're already getting America Chavez, we're already getting Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel. So it feels kind of disingenuous to say that the new stories aren't successful. The new stories are already getting multi-million-dollar deals. Meanwhile, you look at Comicsgate, indie comics are more popular than they've ever been. You've got Cyberfrogs, of course, huge. You look at many of the Comicsgate top 10, top 10, top 25 projects, all huge successes. And across the board, most people succeed, whether that's $50,000 or $5,000. Most projects don't do terribly. Some of them do, but it's usually a lack of promotion rather than a lack of quality, though sometimes lack of quality too. But for the mainstream, they've just kind of stagnated, in my opinion. I think that you get the same couple good books every year. Most of it's garbage. Most of your favorite characters are being eroded. Uh, everybody's gay. The gay Justice League, gay Avengers. Everyone's being replaced with, a minority or woman or something like that. So, I don't know. I think if you're an indie comics guy, you gotta know the culture war's over. I mean, it just is. And I think to a degree you kind of got to admit defeat as far as this culture war is concerned. The mainstream won. The mainstream is still in business. They're still making comics. They're still making movies based on their comics. Now, they're selling less, sure. Are they going to go out of business? Maybe. But for now, all the protesting, all the yelling and screaming, everything that everyone did for years has had pretty much no effect. So, I don't know. I think you gotta admit that they're just gonna keep doing their own thing, even if it kills them, which it will. And you gotta accept, okay, they won this one. Let them have it, because it's like they're now king of the dirt pile, you know? They're king of all the rubble that's left over. And we're over here making our own kingdom. So, I don't know. Let them win, I guess. It's not going to do them any favors. It's just kind of my thoughts. I've been thinking about this for a while, and people always talk about how, oh yeah, the mainstream, they'll learn this time. This time, oh, we'll show them. And we keep going back to the stuff that they're doing wrong. And it's like, it's not like they don't know that they're doing it wrong. Of course they do. That's why they're doing it. And you'll think, oh, Disney won't stand for this. Disney's all about money. No, they're not. Disney's got enough money. Disney needs social clout. Which, sure, they think that will give them money later on. But that's not what it's about. It's about the clout. And so long as being progressive is popular, Disney's not going to change. Sure, there's probably a certain degree of money that they'll lose, and they'll, like AT&T with DC. It's like, oh yeah, they had a certain degree of losses that they would tolerate, and then after that they were kind of done. But for most of these companies, they don't care. They would rather take the L and lose some money, but be progressive. I mean, look at Shang-Chi, Black Widow, Eternals. Same story for all of them. So, I don't know. I say the culture war's over, and we just need to accept the culture war's over, move on to something else, do our own thing, and pretty much leave them alone. So, just my thoughts. Let me know what you think. See you guys in the next video.